Hi guys, I'm Phil Town from Rule 1 Investing, and today we're going to discuss how you can actually tell the difference between an event that affects a company's current value and where we want to buy the company, and the total train wreck downfall of a business from which it probably will not recover. If you follow Rule 1 Investing, then you already know that an event is what we refer to as something that has happened to cause the general market to underprice a business well below its real value. An event is usually something unpredictable, and it's also usually something that'll be relatively easy to correct, meaning that the company will be back on track in a reasonable period of time. By that, I mean 1 to 3 years. So it's not going to be easy, and it's probably a one-time event, but it's something they will recover from. These are also known as what I like to call great investing opportunities. A company downfall, a company train wreck, can be a significant turn of events for a business that starts a downward trend in value, not price, that it just can't recover from. I get a lot of questions about how you can tell the difference, but to really dig into those two, we have to first understand a few things about the stock market. Investment professionals and the financial services industry are overwhelmingly using some basic principles. They're taught in business school that a stock's current price is always equal to its value. Now, this just simply isn't true. I mean, look at people like Warren Buffett, who've been making incredible returns in the stock market for 60 years, just by finding and purchasing companies at a discount to their real value. If you look hard enough, you can find a wonderful business that may be priced low, even though the value is high. In reality, the ebbs and flows of a business stock price are influenced by all kinds of moving parts. It's not uncommon for something to happen to a wonderful company that generates a lot of fear in the market. So why would a company go on sale? Well, because something happens to it that generates a lot of fear in the market. And the reason that fear gets generated is because, even when it's not warranted, right, is because most big players in the stock market aren't taking the time to really know what they're invested in for the long run. So that's the first thing. If they did really know what they've got, they would see there's a very, very high probability the business will recover from whatever this problem is. The other reason is that most fund managers and other big investors care and need to make returns every day, every week, every month, every quarter for their clients. They see a drop in a stock that they own, they act immediately to protect their track record and abandon ship. They know from long experience and from many cautionary tales in their industry that staying with their market is more important than becoming a hero and writing something down and hope it goes up large in the future. So a positive number is always better to show a client relative to their peer group than a negative number. A negative number can get you fired. What does an event mean to you, though, as an individual investor? You're not worried about getting fired by somebody just because you didn't stay with your peer group for a few months. What it means is that if the business remains fiscally sound, that is, that the event that's happening isn't a deadly event, it's not going to kill the company, then this could create a really great opportunity to steal this business, and you may want to load up the truck. Now, good investing requires knowing the difference between a specific event creating an opportunity to buy or the business driving off the proverbial cliff. So what's a pretty good sign of an event that puts a company on sale versus puts it out of business? When thinking about a business life-altering event, it's essential to view these things in a more global sense. I mean, for example, an event could occur halfway around the world that causes your favorite small airline to take a major hit in its stock price and could create an opportunity for you to buy in. Maybe OPEC drastically cut oil production and the jet fuel prices doubled. That might be considered a singular event if the fuel shortage is designed as a short-term measure, just to kind of help out one country. It could also be something like the Arab Spring in 2010 that doubled the price of cotton across the board when people thought, oh my gosh, the Arabs are not going to harvest cotton this year. And this caused certain clothing manufacturers that just see their price and their stock get hammered for the short term. because we know that all that's going to happen if the prices stay high is Georgia's going to plant cotton from the Florida line to the North Carolina line, and there'll be more cotton than the world can use, and prices will come back down. So when something like that occurs, it's important to know if anything else about the company has changed. Something permanently has changed, right? Cotton prices are going to re-regulate, oil prices are going to re-regulate, but something could be changing that's permanent. They could lose their moat, their competitive advantage. Maybe they're losing their genius CEO. Somewhere the story might be changing big time. That's what you got to know. If everything else in the story is still the same, it means that the only thing creating this fear is a relatively short-term problem. And yet, events like those can drop the price of a business by 50% or more in some cases. And this is where we get our home runs. On the flip side of that coin, an event could be the beginning of the end for that company. The problem for investors is being able to tell the difference between a bump in the road that's going to get fixed in a year or two and a head-on collision that wipes you out. Now, playing a game of chicken with your hard-earned money, that's a very scary thing. We don't do that. We invest in things that we know are surefire wins. In many respects, there are common sense indicators that distinguish a short-term bargain from a total loser. When considering whether or not to buy a business or a stock, take the time to review the company's quarterly, yearly reports, all of them. Make sure you understand how the numbers are flowing and what they're flowing from. Next, consider how the event plays into a company's overall health and well-being. We live in a world where a lot of things are connected, right? Everything almost. It's a matter of knowing the business you buy into and understanding whether it'll rebound or not. I think a great way to get at the right answer to this question, is this terminal or is it just temporary, is to ask a few key questions. All right, here's the first one. Does your CEO have a reputation for being truthful? Are they honest? Do they have integrity? Are they going to tell you the truth about recent events? Okay. So for example, the CEO of Gildan, when faced with extremely high cotton prices from the Arab Spring, Gildan is a t-shirt maker in Canada, came out publicly and he said, we're going to get hammered. We're going to have to pay a lot more for cotton than we thought we would, but we think this will last about a year. Now, this person's reputation for honesty basically convinced me I should invest in the company. But the rest of the market went, a year? That's forever. We're out of here. And the stock dropped from 45 to 16. So when I'm looking at this as an investor, I'm looking at the guy running my company. Is he going to tell me the truth about this event? And he's saying, absolutely, this is a one-year event. And that honesty brought me into his company. Has the organization overcome adversity in the past? Well, I was able to look at the history of the cotton prices in the market, and it was pretty obvious that cotton goes through these periodic jumps in price, and they get taken care of very quickly. So I know that the industry has certainly overcome these big ranges in cotton prices. It just takes, a relatively short period of time, and I was convinced that they would get through this in 2 or 3 years. The most key question you can ask yourself is, does this event have something to do with breaking the moat of the company? I'll give you an example with Chipotle Grill. You guys are probably sick of hearing about Chipotle Grill, but here he comes anyway. And that is that they had E. coli poisoning in 2015 in a number of their restaurants. Now, this had direct implications, I should say, about the moat for Chipotle. Chipotle's moat is, we know how to make fresh gourmet food for the masses and keep it safe. And none of our competitors can do it. We don't use all the things that other people use to keep food, quote, safe, which makes it non-organic and not natural. So, and in many ways, perhaps unhealthy. So this is Chipotle's big moat, and all of a sudden it's got a crack in it. The question I have to answer for myself on something like that is, does this destroy the moat? Obviously, cotton prices don't destroy Gildan's moat. And in this case, I determined that Chipotle was going to figure the problem out and it would make their moat better than ever. And I was right. So you got to look at this thing and say, is the moat at risk by whatever this event is? If the moat is not at risk, if the business story stays intact, and if your CEO is telling you the truth, this can be an incredible opportunity to jump in. Now, one more thing, one of my favorite events ever is a recession. Recessions are a fantastic event. because they're relatively short term. You know that the federal government's going to throw its entire power into bringing us out of a recession as quickly as possible. We've had them regularly every 7 years or so. So we know it's an incredible opportunity to buy great companies on sale. So events, when we properly define them, are a fantastic opportunity for us to really increase the probabilities of a great return on our investment. Now, one more thing is that obviously when you're thinking about buying into a company that's going through an event, you're going to be dealing with the fact that the market is experiencing fear around this event, and you're going to go put your money into a thing. So the goal of Rule 1 investing is always to be able to buy into wonderful companies at a discount when there's fear. But in order to do that, you have to control your own fear and emotions. Because if you let those get in the way, you're just not going to have a great investing practice, and you're not going to do very well in the stock market. So now, you guys, I'd love to hear from you. Can you think of any events that put a company that you love on sale? Wow, this is right where the rubber meets the road. All right, leave a comment below with your answer. I'll be sure to follow up with you. And thanks for watching. Now go play. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about the difference between an event and a downfall, a train wreck, hit the like button and please share this video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. And thanks again for watching.